Good afternoon. I am Agent Reese of Anglesey. I am operating on the authority of Their Majesties King Emilius Claudius Britannicus and Queen Isabel Atwill of Ealdormere.
Long may they reign.
Long may they reign. For the record, can you please state your full name and title?
I'm Avelyn Wexcombe of Great Bedwin, and I am Baroness of Skraling Althing, and you may refer to me as Your Excellency.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Do you know why I've requested an interview with you today?
Well, there's been a terrible tragedy here in Skrail. My beloved husband, David, has gone missing, and I'm so afraid of the worst for him.
Don't worry.
And I hope that I can help you get to the bottom of this as soon as possible, and my truly wonderful husband can come back to us.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We will do our best to make sure that we find your husband.
Thank you.
Where were you on the day of the disappearance, that being September 6th, 2020?
Well, Agent, I can say that to the best of my recollection, I was with my ladies in my solar. We were reviewing certain files and documents for our lands, and we were planning our various parties and festivities that we go to, and thinking ahead to the days when we can see each other all again, trying hard not to break our little bubble of happiness in my tower.
Indeed. And I assume that your ladies-in-waiting can corroborate this.
Sure.
Thank you. We may need to speak with them at a later time.
Certainly.
Your Excellency, why do you think someone would abduct your husband?
Well, because he's just such a wonderful person. I mean, who wouldn't want my lovely husband? And he was quite a catch, although I have to say there have been rumors that there are people in this kingdom who are very jealous of him and his skills. So really, I don't know what could have possibly have happened to him, and I hope that there's just been some unfortunate incident and that he'll be wandering home quite soon, healthy and hale and well, because I love him and I hope that's the case.
That is the hope. Have you received any kind of correspondence regarding Baron Davith since his disappearance?
Well, I did receive a message by pigeon. However, the message was very garbled and I really have no way to make sense of it, and I wasn't able to get anyone else to help me decipher it. So it's really quite a mystery.
Oh, perhaps we'll be able to analyze this further after this interview.
Well, unfortunately, it got misplaced.
Ah, that is very unfortunate.
Yes, the ladies that I spend my time with are highly efficient and very, very tidy.
Indeed. Where did you last see Baron Davith then?
Well, a lady shouldn't talk about these things, but that morning, the morning that he disappeared, we were both in the solar together, naturally. And he rose early and went off on his morning routine, and I bade him farewell with a long kiss. And that was the last I saw of him.
Well, at least he was able to see your fair face one last time before he disappeared.
Aren't you a sweetheart?
How did Baron Davith act on the day that he disappeared?
Well, I mean, Davith is known for being a very pleasant person. He's very lovable. He's very, very smart, you know. And I didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary that morning. He was very, very cheerful at breakfast, and he kissed me goodbye before he went on his rounds. And I suppose I thought it was a little bit odd that he was taking a horse, because, you know, he usually prefers to walk the lands, but perhaps he was in a bit of a hurry, or he would have been ranging a bit further afield. I don't know.
Perhaps he may have been going further.
Mm-hmm.
To your best recollection, do you know if he had any confrontations with anyone in the past recent time?
Well, I'll have to think about that.
Or if he had been with someone that day?
What are you suggesting?
Oh, nothing untoward.
Oh!
Simply a friend, perhaps.
No, I would never. Oh, well. Oh. Whew. No, I don't think he was with anybody except, you know, his usual retinue of games people. And I know that he was out walking the land and talking to the people, because, you know, people just adore him, and they love chatting with him, and he loves chatting with his people and hearing what they're up to in the news, and you know, seeing lands for himself. So I'm sure he was just out about doing that and doing nothing else at all untoward. Perish the thought.
Indeed. Can you think of anyone who would hold a grudge against your husband?
That is such a tricky question, because, you know, like I said, he just seemed to be so loved by everyone, except for that pesky Baron Brand down in that Ben Dunforth area. Cousin Baron Brand, yes. He's so very jealous of us, you know, because we hold the lands to Bolt Castle. And I know he's just so covetous of that isle and that very, very worthy castle atop of it. And I know he's tried to sway many people in the kingdom that the land there belongs to Ben Dunforth. But of course, it is within Scrail's lands, and we have documentation that it belongs to us. So frankly, it wouldn't surprise me if that Baron Brand wasn't involved somehow, or his agents thereof.
Definitely something we'll have to look into.
And I hope you do.
Absolutely, Your Excellency, we would do.
And he should be ashamed of himself, coveting our castle and our island.
Yes.
And I know that there's even rumors that other peers in the kingdom were very, very jealous of his charisma and his charming nature.
Oh.
Sir Richard. But, you know, as for a grudge, I don't know. I mean, he was a very sought after craftsman as a leather worker, and one of the few leather workers in the kingdom of Ealdormere, and it's entirely possible that he was requested rather forcibly to attend someone and provide for their leathery needs.
Oh.
I suppose you could say.
So he may have been abducted in order to take advantage of his artisanship.
Yes, he's very handy making leather goods.
Would you call any of these people who would hold a grudge against your husband as particular enemy?
Well, Her Grace, Duchess Rylan, did, I understand, want to challenge him to a banner-making competition, because he's also known for his skills to make silk banners in the kingdom, as well as herself. And I think she wanted to prove ultimately that her banner-making skills were superior, but I personally don't believe that anyone of Her Grace's stature would be able to do something as horrendous as this. And you know, that would just be a terrible thing for a peer of the kingdom to do. And I would be so astonished if Her Grace had anything to do with this. But who am I to know these things, of course?
Indeed.
And I should also mention, Agent Reese,
Yes.
I am, of course, innocent of any wrongdoing in this matter whatsoever. And I'm sure that there may be people who are wondering that, but anyone who knows me knows that I love my husband. I would never do such a thing. I could never cause him any kind of harm or grief. And I am more than just a well-wisher, and I love him and want him to be well.
Of course.
So I assure you that that's the case. And I also want you to know that you can totally eliminate anyone from our good shires, because I am very fond of the people of our shires, and I think that they're so misunderstood in this kingdom, and they're good folk, and they deserve more recognition and more stature and land and power. But nevertheless, no one from one of the shires could possibly have done this. They're such wonderful people, and I'm rather fond of them, but that's for another day for us to discuss, of course.
Well, thank you for your forthrightness.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And you know, I do hope that all of my responses will help you find my beloved Dabith.
I'm sure they will. Finally, what do you think should be done to the person who did this?
Oh, well, I naturally am outraged at my husband's disappearance, and I'm horrified, and I'm just absolutely overcome with the idea that something's just terrible and untoward has happened to him. So, if I had my way, the person responsible for this horrible deed would be subject to the wrath of Scrael. And indeed, we know wrath in Scraeling all things. However, it has to be said that, of course, naturally, that anything that were to be happening at the result of the end of this case would be fully the responsibility of their majesties, who are just and true. So, really. But if I had my way, Avelyn smash! But naturally, it is all in the jurisdiction of our glorious Lawspeaker and our wonderful majesties, of course.
Of course, I will make sure that they know of your wishes.
Well, and I understand that they're pretty fond of wrath too, so I hope that whoever's responsible is brought to justice and suffers much beatings, and possibly some land loss.
Rest assured that they will be.
Yes, and a tarnished reputation as well.
Of course.
But that is, of course, up to the discretion of their majesties.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to this interview, Your Excellency. The Crown appreciates your cooperation. I'm sure you are eager for your husband to be found.
Oh, yes. And David, if you're out there, I love you, and I hope that you come back to us soon, because I miss you, and the people of Scraeling all thing miss you, and we need you. And don't worry, I'll fix your tunic. Or someone will, but we'll fix your tunic.
Thank you so much.
And good luck with your case and your investigation. And I hope it resolves quickly.
Thank you, Your Excellency.